Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
New from the National Hurricane Center, Tropical Storm Melissa has formed in the southern Caribbean. I'll explain where it's likely to head and why it should slow down coming up.
Breaking news at the state legislative building. Newly drawn congressional districts favoring Republicans are headed to the state house.
Plus choked, beaten, and bloodied. That is how one of Jeffrey Epstein's accusers describes abuse she says she suffered as a teenager. How the posthumous memoir is renewing questions about men in Epstein's circle.
We are following two big developments this noon. Redrawing election districts in North Carolina, as well as activity in the tropics. A brand new tropical storm developed within the last hour.
Yeah, meteorologist Kat Campbell is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at where Tropical Storm Melissa is right now and if we can expect to be affected.
We are not likely to see impacts from Tropical Storm Melissa here in North Carolina or in the U.S. Luckily, top winds 50 miles per hour, and it is currently moving to the west at 14 miles per hour. That's significant because there's about to be a big change in movement over the next 48 hours. It's likely to slow down significantly, and this is the official hurricane forecast track all the way through Saturday. So notice it moves very, very slowly as it makes the turn to the north. And over the weekend, it could be a hurricane by Friday into Saturday. As for the impacts, it is nearing fall break time for some schools. If you do know anybody who's traveling to the Caribbean, Jamaica, Hispaniola, Haiti, and Cuba could see impacts from this system by the weekend. So it is going to be worth watching. But there is something protecting the Gulf from impacts. And I'll talk more about the steering patterns coming up in about 10 minutes. Let's focus in on our chance for rain, though. Tonight, here comes our next cold front. This one is going to bring a big cool down, but notice how dry it is out ahead of the cold front. The green that you see, that's where we've got some moisture, but for us, dew points are just in the 40s, so the cold front doesn't have very much moisture to squeeze out rain, but we could still see some sprinkles or light rain later this evening after sunset. 5 o'clock, still dry, some clouds rolling in. It's really once we get closer to 8, 9, 10 o'clock that we've got the best chance for rain. This is not going to add up to much in your rain gauge, and it's not going to provide any relief from the drought. I'll have a closer look at the more significant temperature drop behind the front coming up.
Kat, thank you. Now to breaking news out of the state legislature. Newly drawn congressional districts are headed to the state house for approval.
State Senate lawmakers approved the proposal along the party lines this morning, sending it to the state house for another series of votes.
WRAL's Sean Gallagher is live at the legislative building with reaction. Sean.
Yeah, right now the North Carolina Democratic Party is holding a rally for their displeasure in these maps that have been drawn, maps that they believe are very unfair. You can see that there are hundreds of people that are here right now as Democratic representatives are speaking about these maps, saying that the way that they were drawn are unfair right now in the system. And it is something that Republican lawmakers have said their full intentions of doing, trying to gain another seat in the congressional districts here in the state. And while the Republican lawmakers who drew these maps say they did not use any sort of racial census data or considered race in this, they strongly disagree here with the NC Democratic Party.
Don't trust the voters.
Make no mistake, this is a racist act by our state legislature. They are coming in to strategically target one of the black congressional districts that we have left in North Carolina right now, in the Black Belt region of our state, where North Carolina has had a majority minority rural counties throughout that district for as long as it's been in existence in Congress. And so what we're seeing is the legacy of black rural people from across this state being stripped away from Congress right now.
We got to reclaim our freedom.
And their fear is that the African-American voting bloc is being diluted by these gerrymandered maps. Now, after they finish their speeches here, they're all going to go from the state capitol here and march over to the legislative building, where they plan to continue voicing their displeasure and why they don't want to see these maps go through. We'll, of course, update you later in the afternoon with what happens between now and then. But for now, at the state capitol, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
And we have covered the many congressional map redistricting efforts that have happened in North Carolina for years. And you can find that coverage on WRAL.com and our WRAL News app.
And I'm Dan Haggerty in the WRAL Live Center, keeping an eye on some breaking news for you, as well as some of the other stuff we're working on for tonight. Wouldn't you know it? We were just looking at the news conference at UNC where Bill Belichick was doing his weekly news briefing with the media, and it went to black. So don't worry about that. Pay attention to me right here. So, of course, they just lost to Cal. They're going to play Virginia at home this week. Cal, an unranked team. Virginia in the top 20, so we'll see how they fare coming off another loss. But, of course, when Belichick talks, it's not just about football and the X's and O's. It's about the other things surrounding the team and him, and sometimes his girlfriend Jordan Hudson as well, including the contract that Brian Murphy, our reporter, uncovered this week regarding that Hulu documentary that fell through, the trip to Saudi Arabia that was made by some of the staff in order to raise a little bit of money prior to the season starting. Pablo Torres, the big journalist who has been doing reporting and uncovering some behind-the-scenes video and audio of Jordan Hudson and maybe some of the power that she's wielding within the organization, and a lot more, right? But we have Monica Casey coming up at 12:30 with a live report and some images. You won't just see a black screen. Trust me. We'll see Monica in about a half hour, guys.
Yeah, curious to see what Belichick has to say. All right, thanks, Dan. Teams in Durham County are working to clean up after a log truck crashed, and this happened on Bahama Road near Tilly Farm Road. You could see teams there moving those logs to the side of that road to clear the debris. Sky 5 was above that this morning, and once we know what caused the crash and if anyone was injured, we'll let you know. The driver of a tractor trailer involved in an early morning crash is facing charges, and that happened before 1 a.m. on I-95 in Cumberland County near Chickenfoot Road. Video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker shows the damaged tractor trailer and a car. A trooper told our team at that scene the tractor trailer driver was impaired.
Wake County school leaders plan to discuss who should get school-issued laptops. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey explains what the board will be discussing about which age groups need the technology.
Wake County parents, your students have been using school-issued laptops similar to this one since 2020. And today, school leaders will talk about changing that. All Wake County students were given laptops at the start of the pandemic. Wake Schools is like most districts in the state. They didn't give out laptops until COVID, and they used federal pandemic relief dollars to do it. Those funds ran out last year, causing the district to use money out of their facilities budget to pay for the technology. With mounting facility issues like broken HVAC systems, school leaders think the money for laptops could be used elsewhere.
The superintendent and the school board chair earlier this year said they're really not sure the school district's youngest students, think kindergartners and first graders, really need to have a laptop issued to them individually. They really want to save money where they can.
Today's meeting, scheduled for 2:30 here at Wake Schools headquarters, is just supposed to be a discussion. There's no vote today, but any changes that could be implemented won't happen until next school year. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, and Cary.
The Trump administration appears ready to deliver more student loan forgiveness. The president initially blocked any efforts on forgiving student loans until recently. Under a new plan, staffers will resume processing student loan forgiveness for those enrolled in 2 income-driven repayment plans. Those who make payments after becoming eligible for cancellation will be reimbursed.
The head of special education for a former Raleigh charter school is accused of illegally trying to obtain thousands of dollars in federal education funds. Shawntrese Andrews is charged with falsified documents to defraud the government, and we're talking about more than $14,000 back in 2020. This happened when she worked for Torchlight Academy. It served hundreds of K-8 students, and since the state board had revoked its charter back in 2022. A Raleigh firefighter is being treated at a local hospital after a hit and run. And this happened yesterday just before 2:30 while he was performing tree removal duty off Skycrest Road. Now, thankfully, he was wearing a helmet when this happened. TSR Tree Service is offering $1,000 in a reward for any information leading to an arrest.
The current Congress has not passed any of the 12 appropriations bills needed to fund the U.S. government, extending the government shutdown. This stalemate means hundreds of thousands of government workers will not get paychecks. NBC's Ryan Nobles explains what's next.
Day 21 of the federal government shutdown, and already food banks across the country are bracing for an influx of need. Social safety net programs like SNAP are set to run out of money by the end of the month.
If those SNAP dollars get cut in half, that would mean that a local food center, food bank would have to quadruple their output just to meet that need.
Those same food banks not just preparing for people missing benefits, but also full-time federal workers who are on the verge of missing a second paycheck. Many of those workers still on the job at airports across America, leading to flight delays from air traffic controllers and TSA officers calling in sick. Federal workers at airports aren't the only ones not being paid. And this week, the Senate is planning to attempt to alleviate some of that pressure by passing a bill that would at least get paychecks for those federal workers who are still required to work.
It has become clear that Democrats' previous concerns had more to do with politics than with principle.
But Democrats continue to hold their ground, arguing any bill passed must consider health care reforms.
The ACA premium crisis is not a fix-it-later issue, like Republicans keep pretending it is. It's a fix-it-now issue.
Cancer survivor Kenny Capps gets his health insurance through the Affordable Care Act. If the subsidies lapse, he may be forced to go without coverage.
That could be twice what my mortgage payment is, which means that I'm going to have to start making decisions about what I pay.
Meanwhile, the shutdown continues and is on pace to break records. If it extends for more than 2 weeks, it will become the longest shutdown of all time. Some on Capitol Hill are bracing for that possibility.
We are shorthanded already with air traffic controllers, with TSA agents, keeping the airports safe and our flights safe. We cannot afford this nonsense.
And that was Ryan Nobles reporting. Let's take a look at stocks now. And what started as a mix of green and red, all the major indices are in the green. The Dow Jones up 300 points at this hour. S&P 500 advancing 12 points. And NASDAQ, which just minutes ago was in the red, now advancing 1 point after major corporations released some strong earnings reports.
Seeing some improvements there. Tens of thousands of people are expected to head to the state fairgrounds all this week and into the weekend. We're talking nearly 200,000 people were at the state fair over the opening weekend. 105,000 visitors on Saturday and more than 91,000 on Sunday. The fair will run through this Sunday, October 26th. And while you're out there today, don't forget to stop by the WRAL booth. Ashley Rowe and Gerald Owens will be there today from 2 to 3 p.m.
Next at noon, quiet down. The Raleigh City Council is taking another step to reduce noise in Glenwood South. A preview of what to expect at today's meeting.
And abort mission? Maybe. NASA might not choose SpaceX for a big upcoming mission. Hear why and the other company NASA is considering instead.
And the Belichick update. What we might hear during an update from Coach Belichick on the Tar Heels' progress.
Coming up next, sea storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000. Sponsored by the WRAL Weather app. Download now for live radar.
A Houston man charged with killing an 11-year-old boy during a ding-dong ditch prank appeared in court this morning. Gonzalo Leon Jr. was arraigned on a first-degree murder charge for the shooting death of Julian Guzman. Investigators say that Leon shot Guzman after the child rang his doorbell and then ran off. During the investigation, Leon's wife allowed officers to search their home. That's where they found about 20 weapons, including AR-style rifles and handguns.
A posthumous memoir written by one of Jeffrey Epstein's accusers is now on sale. Virginia Giuffre died by suicide in Australia 6 months ago. Nobody's Girl contains vivid descriptions of the abuse she says she endured as a teenager. The book contains fresh allegations against Prince Andrew. Giuffre wrote that she feared she might die a sex slave under Epstein's control. It also recounts her efforts to seek justice for herself and others allegedly abused by Epstein. Opening statements are scheduled to begin tomorrow in the murder trial of an Illinois sheriff's deputy charged with killing Sonia Massey. Graphic police body camera video shows the moment Sean Grayson shot and killed Massey. Defense and prosecutors questioned 48 potential jurors. They settled on a jury made up of 9 white women, 2 white men, and 1 black man. 3 alternates were chosen, 2 white men and 1 white woman. Cameras will not be allowed in the courtroom for the duration of the trial.
A man accused of threatening to shoot up Hartsfield Atlanta International Airport is in police custody, and video shows the suspect arrive at the airport at 9:29 a.m. Officers say once he entered the building, he walked to a busy TSA check-in area and appears to be, quote, scanning that area. The man's family says he has a history of mental health challenges, and they alerted police that he had been streaming his plan on social media.
This individual did have a semi-automatic weapon, and this individual was mentally challenged. And when you have those combinations together, it can turn out to be deadly.
Police arrested the man as he was walking back to his truck. Officers found an AR-15 and 27 rounds of ammunition in his truck parked outside the airport.
The vice president has landed in Israel. I'm Dan Haggerty in the Live Center, keeping an eye on Vice President J.D. Vance's trip to the Middle East as he shores up the diplomatic efforts as Gaza's peace deal, the peace deal between Hamas and Israel, hangs in the balance. While he's there, he's going to meet with Prime Minister, I should say, Netanyahu, as well as some other leaders. He does admit, though, while he believes that this is a possibility, that the ceasefire could hold, and that he is hopeful that it will, that it is by far from any type of guarantee. As reported by NBC News, deadly fighting did break out over the weekend between Israel and Hamas. The 2-year war, though, remains on hold right now for at least this peace agreement, this ceasefire, for less than 2 weeks. It is hopeful, but remains extremely fragile right now.
And President Trump was there last week, and now Vice President Vance's turn to head to Israel. Russia says there is no precise time frame for a second summit between Vladimir Putin and President Donald Trump on sending the war in Ukraine. Last week, President Trump said he and Putin agreed for their advisors to meet this week ahead of a summit in Budapest next week. However, a meeting between Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has been put on hold for the time being. Demolition is now underway on the White House's East Wing. That's where President Trump is building a new ballroom. The administration says the $250 million project is being funded by private donors. The president says the 90,000 square foot space will be in keeping with White House architecture. This could be the biggest physical change to the White House since 1942. That's when President Franklin D. Roosevelt expanded the East Wing.
NASA may sideline SpaceX for its next mission to the moon. That's the word from the acting space agency chief, Sean Duffy. Duffy emphasized he believes SpaceX is lagging behind schedule. He says the delays could derail NASA's efforts to return humans to the moon. Now, before China does, that is. Duffy suggested that Blue Origin could replace SpaceX in the Artemis 3 mission. The Artemis 3 moon landing mission is currently set to happen as soon as mid-2027. So scientists may have come up with an out-of-this-world discovery, right? New research shows a mysterious glow in our galaxy, and it may come from dark matter. The glow was first found by a NASA telescope in 2008, and some believe the light was caused by exploding stars. But recent tests from supercomputers show collisions of dark matter might be responsible for the illumination. Obviously, you cover weather, Kat, but all the space stuff that comes out from NASA and the James Webb Telescope is so awesome to see.
Oh, I nerd out about it. I get the daily emails from NASA that come in, and I'm always reading through them. It's so fascinating. Don't forget about the meteor shower. This week, you're going to have some good viewing of it. You know, meteor showers kind of happen over a time period, so it may not be the actual peak, but it should be pretty nice.
And until that, the State Fair to enjoy.
The State Fair, I mean, I was out there yesterday. It was so much fun. 70 degrees, perfect fair weather at the moment, plenty of sunshine. The carousel paused at the moment as some new kids get on board. This evening, there could be a couple of showers, but not until late tonight. We're talking after sunset. These are sprinkles, no big deal, and it's not going to add up into any kind of significant rainfall. Currently, temperatures are sitting at 68 in Cary, 66 in Garner and Knightdale, 70 in Raleigh, as I mentioned, 69 for Clayton and Durham. Chapel Hill, our cooler spot at 65. As kids head home this afternoon, we'll be in the mid-70s, 76 degrees. Maybe let them do some homework outside. It's a nice day for it. A little bit on the breezy side, but that's about it. Our next cold front is coming tonight, and that's what could bring a couple of sprinkles after sunset. We talked about that at the top of the newscast, but by the morning hours, it's cool to start the day. Not quite as chilly as today, though, and high pressure builds in throughout the week. So by Friday morning, that northwest wind wrapping around high pressure is pushing in much colder air from Canada, and we're likely to see lows dip into the 30s in spots, 35 in Roxborough, 38 Sanford, 41 in Raleigh, 42 in Fayetteville. And that does bring up the potential for some patchy frost possible by Friday morning. We're not under a frost advisory yet or anything like that. Still kind of on that borderline. But I do want to give you an early heads up, those who have some sensitive plants that they want to try to keep around a bit longer. Thursday night into Friday morning might need to do some protecting, mainly north of the Triangle and in some of our more rural areas over into Chatham County. At this point, it doesn't look like a freeze would be likely Friday morning, especially not a hard freeze. But we'll keep you up to date throughout the week. Tropical storm Melissa has formed in the southern Caribbean Caribbean is going to slow down and move very, very slowly, likely to the north. By the weekend, it could strengthen into a hurricane. There is so much warm air, even deep in the ocean, for this to tap into and strengthen. But models are still all over the place on this. Luckily, this area of high pressure in the Gulf should protect the Gulf from Melissa, and this one should really help to steer it more to the north. So the Gulf has really escaped unscathed so far for this hurricane season, which is great news, and it doesn't look like Melissa will be any different. Over the next week, we just have some small rain chances tonight and Sunday into Monday, but beautiful fair weather. So come on out and say hi at the WRAL booth.
We look forward to seeing everybody there. Kat, thank you. Coming up on our news this afternoon, car payment problems. New data shows many Americans are struggling to pay their car bills. Today at 5 on Your Side shows ways people can avoid repossession and late payments.
Plus, HVAC headache. A woman in Durham told us she went months with AC or without it in her public housing. WRAL Investigates is asking leaders what's taking so long to get it fixed. That's at 6 o'clock. Record cruises. Millions of Americans will set sail next year. The top destinations after the break.
And have you checked your nails today? From vitamin deficiencies to cancer, they can give you some insight into your overall health. A doctor explains how.
Welcome back. I'm Dan Haggerty in the WRAL Live Center, getting some news about the Warner Brothers Discovery potential sale. They're announcing that they are open to some of the offers that they have received. Now, I know these are familiar names, but to just give you a little bit of the details, this is the parent company of HBO, CNN, Discovery, Warner Brothers Studios, all the movies that they make, and there is a lot on the line here, depending on who these buyers might be. Consider CNN, that news organization, and what that might mean based on having a new owner. Also, it continues the conversation around media consolidation in this country and some of the power that is wielded there. Remember, it was just 2022 when Warner Brothers and Discovery merged. Right now, no buyers have been named, but we'll continue to keep our eye on it. Guys?
Dan, thanks for that update. 18,000 drivers have renewed their licenses online since a new state law aimed at cutting down long lines at the DMV took effect. That went in place 2 weeks ago. It expanded online renewal options for driver's licenses, reducing the need for in-person visits. The DMV is also making progress in hiring more examiners. It says 95% of the state's positions are filled. The agency's commissioner also said the ability for teen drivers to upgrade their licenses to drive after 9 at night should be available in the coming weeks.
Spotify is rolling out a new feature to allow users to follow their favorite concert venues. This will give updates and details on upcoming shows, and you can filter them by genre. The platform will offer links to a venue's official ticket partner, and Spotify says it currently tracks more than 20,000 locations worldwide, from iconic arenas to independent clubs. The cruise industry is anticipating record numbers next year. According to AAA, more than 21 million Americans will set sail. According to the club, 65% of all U.S. passengers are 55 or up. Nearly half of sailing vacationers travel as a couple, and 20% cruise with children. The Caribbean is by far the most popular destination, with 72% of passengers, and other popular destinations include Alaska and the Mediterranean.
Looking ahead, the Tar Heels take on number 16 Virginia this weekend. Monica Casey joins us live with how Coach Belichick hopes to help the team bounce back from Friday's loss against Cal.
Uncharted territory. That's how some describe AI use in classrooms. Hear why mental health experts are sounding the alarm for parents and teachers about the dangers.
And here's a look at the winning lottery numbers.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking news, UNC quarterbacks coach Amon Hawkins has been cleared by the university for Saturday's home game against number 16 Virginia. He was suspended for violating NCAA rules related to extra benefits. Coach Bill Belichick spoke at another news conference today.
Now, in terms of news off the field, including the general manager's trip to Saudi Arabia, keeps UNC in the spotlight. WRAL's Monica Casey was at that press conference. Monica joins us live right now. What's the biggest headline, Monica, that you took away from that?
Well, Chris, I think it was that Hawkins piece that you all just mentioned. That is a big headline to come out of this press conference. Now, looking back at last Friday's game, it was close, and Belichick was asked if that makes a difference in the locker room. A close loss for a team that's had some big deficits this season. He says it does not make a difference. After 24 hours, it is on to the next game. UNC will face Virginia this weekend. Now, we also asked Belichick about the off-the-field endeavors, including a docu-series that was in the works and a possible podcast recording in Chapel Hill. Belichick says some of that, such as his book, happened before he started here, and he's enjoyed what he says is having more time to dedicate to football itself.
Things I did in New England in terms of weekly appearances, media, TV shows, radio shows, and other things were honestly a lot more than what they are here. So, I've been able to dedicate a lot more time to watching film, to coaching the players, to being with the players, to being in meetings and actually coaching on the field because I'm, better informed and better prepared.
Now, we also asked Belichick about UNC football general manager Michael Lombardi's trip to Saudi Arabia. Belichick says he was aware of that meeting and he does know who that fan Lombardi went to meet with is. We'll have more on that coming up at 4. Live in Chapel Hill, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
New numbers are showing startups affiliated with UNC Chapel Hill playing a role in our economy. The new business ventures generated nearly $8 billion for the state over the last year. The report also shows a 29% increase in new provisional patent applications and a 30% increase in issued U.S. patents. Also, more than 131,000 global jobs are tied to UNC Chapel Hill startups, including more than 14,000 in North Carolina.
Today, a plan to make downtown Raleigh quieter is taking another step in City Council. As WRAL's Ali Calabar explains, this is one of the areas that is being targeted in this noise ordinance.
In Glenwood South, it's a very active, very lively, very loud bar scene, especially on the weekends. And as soon as today, these bars, as well as several others throughout the city, may have to monitor their volume level. That's if the City Council approves this ordinance. The ordinance sets a decibel limit based on location, time, and day of the week. It allows higher sound levels in Glenwood South than other businesses, with more restrictions on the weekdays and weekday nights. Businesses with permits can play their music louder than those without. If approved, Raleigh police would have staff monitoring the decibel levels. Businesses who violate the restrictions could face a $1,500 fine. Now, we heard from bar owners and community members about their approval and concern on this ordinance. Today, we're going to hear from City Council members again. That's at 1 p.m. WRAL will be following this. Reporting in Raleigh, Ali Calabar, WRAL News.
And just a heads up, tonight you have another chance to weigh in on the future of the land near RDU. This is land that used to be part of Lake Crabtree Park. RDU has plans to redevelop nearly 140 acres on Aviation Parkway into a recreation destination. It'll include hotels and restaurants and entertainment. The airport is hosting a public workshop on those plans tonight, and that'll be at the Frontier RTP Building 700 on Park Offices Drive. It's from 4 to 7 p.m.
Artificial intelligence tools are changing the way we learn. More schools report using AI in the classrooms. While there are many benefits to this technology, there are also concerns. Jen Sullivan looks at how AI is affecting teen relationships and how parents can talk to their kids about the pros and cons.
More schools are using AI tools to enhance learning in the classroom.
Use of AI in schools is at record levels.
Elizabeth Laird works at the Center for Democracy and Technology. They recently conducted a survey asking public school teachers, parents, and high schoolers about AI use. 85% of the teachers say they've used AI in at least one way in the past school year. But here's where the survey turns alarming.
Only 11% of teachers say that their school has given them any type of guidance or training on how to respond if they suspect that a student's use of this technology, they're potentially using it in ways that could be detrimental to their health and well-being.
Nearly half the students reported they or a friend of theirs using AI as a friend and to get mental health support. And 1 in 5 students say they or someone they know has had a romantic relationship with AI.
The bad news is that the risks that we're talking about today, including students' potentially unhealthy relationship with this technology, are rarely covered.
The American Psychological Association says it's important to monitor children and teens' use of AI so we don't repeat the same harmful mistakes researchers say are made with social media. They recommend parents talk to their children about how they're using AI, make it clear AI is not a substitute for real relationships, not all information is accurate, and review privacy settings together. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
This summer, Wake County School Board members introduced the first draft of a policy to guide students and teachers on how to use AI tools.
Back here in the Live Center, I want to get you informed on something we're seeing in downtown Raleigh. This is a protest and rally near the legislature headed to the Halifax Mall. These folks are down here today because they are protesting against the redistricting, the redrawing or the gerrymandering of those maps. Lawmakers could finalize that plan today. And essentially, it's a plan by Republican lawmakers to use their power to redraw the maps and essentially draw them in a way where certain districts that were formerly run by Democratic leaders, they'll draw them in a way that makes it virtually impossible for those Democratic leaders to win there, increasing the Republican power in the state. There's been a lot of people outspoken about this, not just here in North Carolina, but across the country. And the people here are out there doing it today. We're going to continue to cover their mission as well as what's going to happen today at the legislature and if this will become finalized. Keep in mind, if this vote does go through, this is not the type of thing that the governor can veto. These redrawn maps are strictly with the legislature, and the governor plays no role. If it passes, guys.
Thank you, Dan. Pregnancy later in life. What are the misconceptions and real risk about having a healthy baby after age 35?
Plus, nailing it, how your nails can give you insight into potential health problems. Raleigh police are investigating a case involving a slow-moving train hitting a vehicle near the state fairgrounds. This happened last night at the intersection of Hillsborough Street and Powell Street. It's not clear if anyone was in the car when it was hit by the train. No injuries were reported. Deputies in Wake County are investigating after a teen was seriously injured in a shooting. Sky 5 flew over the scene on Ruby Drive during our new newscast yesterday. Deputies found a teenager with a gunshot wound. They are trying to find out what led to the shooting. No suspect information has been released.
Tonight, you can give your thoughts on traffic changes coming to some Durham streets. The city of Durham is holding a public open house from 5:30 to 7 tonight. The public will get its first look at the two-way traffic design plans for Roxborough and Mangum streets. It will focus on creating safer roads for drivers, walkers, and emergency vehicles. Today, State Attorney General Jeff Jackson is headed to Fayetteville, and he's set to highlight the need for millions of dollars in disaster preparedness funds. Fayetteville Mayor Mitch Colvin will also be there. Not long ago, you may remember, FEMA canceled more than $200 million to protect North Carolina's infrastructure. One of the projects canceled was to replace 4 bridges and restore streams along Blunt Creeks. The goal for that is to prevent future flooding. Attorney General Jackson's visit is set for 1:30 this afternoon.
Putting off pregnancy. More women are waiting longer to start a family. Coming up, why doctors say when it comes to older moms, age is nothing but a number.
And Lego larceny. Police break up a toy theft ring. The punishment the ringleader could face for pilfering plastic bricks.
While delaying motherhood is a growing national trend, a new survey reveals that most people believe it is not safe to wait. Over half of Americans believe that women cannot give birth safely when in their 40s. Emily Gibbs explains why that's a misconception and what experts are saying about the risks of advanced maternal age.
These are moments Melissa Holmes thought were long gone.
I did not believe it. I took about 7 tests.
7 tests with one big reveal.
I found out that I was pregnant.
Pregnant with her second son, 24 years after her first.
It was not anything I expected, anything I was trying to do.
At 42, Melissa was considered advanced maternal age. A new survey from Orlando Health shows over half of Americans don't believe women in their 40s can give birth safely.
They're really no different than others. They actually have routine, uncomplicated
with the exception of their age pregnancies.
Dr. Natasha Spencer says a third of her patients are over 35, and healthy pregnancy is possible, thanks to advancements in testing and technology.
There's a leg right there.
Yet less than half of Americans are aware these advantages decrease the risk for a healthy baby after 35.
We can diagnose things earlier. We can get a running start or a heads up on certain things that may not seemingly look normal.
Genetic testing, medication management, even appointments with maternal fetal medicine specialists, all helpful for moms like Melissa.
There's plenty of women out here doing it, and it can be done. And it can be done graciously.
That was Emily Gibbs reporting. Fertility isn't just an issue for aging women. Doctors emphasize that it is important for men and women considering a second stage family to optimize their health.
So your nails may be trying to tell you something about your health, possibly. They can reveal more about your body than you realize. Nail changes can signal anything from a simple vitamin deficiency or injury to more serious conditions such as anxiety or melanoma. She explains that nail biting linked to anxiety can cause brittle nails, while a dark vertical streak might be a sign of nail melanoma. Now, with this in mind, it's important to regularly check both your fingernails and toenails for any changes.
The signs and symptoms of particular illnesses show up not only in your nail bed, but in other parts of your body too. So it's important to recognize that your nails, while they may signal some particular illness or condition, are not the whole picture. It's best to talk to your doctor about all of your signs and symptoms so that they can arrive at the most accurate diagnosis for you.
Those who wear nail polish should check their nails between coats to avoid missing any potential issues there.
It is 12:47, and look at the beautiful, brilliant blue sky behind me. Not a cloud in the sky and lots of sunshine. And Kat, today will be the warmest afternoon of the week, and then our temperatures will go back to more like fall normal temperatures.
So if you like warm weather, today is your day to do something outside. Go to the state fair, head to the farmer's market, do something outside today. It gets cooler after this, but this is gorgeous fall weather. Fall is here in North Carolina. We know it always seems to arrive during the North Carolina State Fair. I just posted an article on WRAL.com talking about state fair weather and what's normal, how this year's a little different, and why it's some of the nicest of the year. 73 tomorrow. We cool down behind a cold front that passes tonight. That'll bring a small chance for rain. 70 degrees Thursday and Friday. Check out these lows, though, dipping back into the low to mid 40s. Friday morning, some cities could wake up to temperatures in the 30s, mainly in our northern cities and more rural areas. In Raleigh, a live look at the Natural Sciences Museum. Not a cloud in the sky out there right now. We will see some clouds move in late this afternoon. Rain chances are low for the afternoon hours, but they'll go up to 30% tonight. That's not until after sunset, though. Once we get to the weekend, we start out dry. A small chance for rain Sunday night into Monday. It's not likely to add up to very much rain, though. When you look at our forecast rainfall over the next 7 days, we are looking at less than a quarter of an inch of rain. We need the rain. We continue to see growing drought across North Carolina. And I know it's nice weather to be outside in, but we could use a good front that brings some rain. This one is not it. It is going to bring the cool down, but the air is so dry. Dew points are in the 40s. Dew points a measure of moisture in the atmosphere. So we're just not going to be able to squeeze a whole lot of rain out of the clouds when they get here later. And we wouldn't see rain chances get here until after sunset tonight. A couple of showers ahead of this cold front through about midnight. That'll be out of here by the time you wake up and head out tomorrow morning. No issues for the morning commute. It will be a bit breezy during the day tomorrow as that front moves away, and then high pressure will build in for the end of the week and keep things sunny but chilly for us to close out the work week. For tonight, town by town, 50 for the low in Durham, 52 Fayetteville and Raleigh, 47 in Roxborough. It'll be just a little bit milder tonight thanks to the clouds early on. And tomorrow, just a picture perfect day. 72 in Durham, 73 in Raleigh, 73 in Rocky Mount. I could take this weather pretty much every day. It is just going to be stunning outside, the air nice and crisp. Once we get to the end of the work week, we are going to have to watch Thursday night into Friday morning for some patchy frost. It's unlikely in the Triangle, but we'll keep an eye on that potential in our northern counties. By the weekend, temperatures are mild, near 70 for highs, lows a little bit milder by Sunday morning, and we'll hope for some more beneficial rain heading into next week.
Kat, thank you. Surfing sea otter. California officials are warning people to be on the lookout for this bored bandit. Reaction from nearby beach lovers.
And we do have a look at your winning Powerball numbers right here on your screen. 32, 38, 66, 67, 69. The Powerball is 19, and the multiplier is 2. As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines that we're following today. The State House is expected to begin voting this afternoon on a proposed new congressional map. Now, if it passes, it would likely give Republicans an extra seat in Congress. The state Senate gave final approval to this proposal this morning, and Democrats have called the new map racist. They say it drowns out minority voters. Republicans have dismissed that and said the new map is needed to protect President Trump's agenda.
Raleigh City Council could give final approval to a new noise ordinance today. It would set rules for how loud people and businesses can be at certain points of the day. One of the bigger potential impacts would come in the Glenwood South area.
Today, Wake County schools will discuss which students should have laptops. Ahead of the pandemic, the district thought about having every student with one, and now schools don't have the money to make that happen. District leaders aren't sure every student even needs one. Leaders will talk about the next steps, and that'll happen today starting at 2:30.
Thousands of dollars worth of stolen bricks could land a California man behind bars for years. Police in Santa Rosa, California arrested a 39-year-old man after they were tipped off about a scheme involving stolen Legos, tens of thousands of them. Officers say Robert Lopez would buy the stolen plastic bricks at a lower price and then resell the sets at a higher price to unsuspecting buyers. If convicted, he could get up to 3 years behind bars.
And Renee, also happening in California, beachgoers are finding new signs around a popular surfing site in Santa Cruz. Now, we're not talking about shark warnings. Signs now alert surfers of aggressive otters and to enter at their own risk. You may recall last week we shared that story of a feisty otter that jumped onto a board. Well, it happened again, but the surfers appear to be taking the encounters in stride.
I was out with one of my friends, and out of nowhere, this otter just hops onto this guy's board, and it almost looks like he's like biting it, but it's like, I don't know, he kind of looked chill, so I think it's good.
Nah, the otter just starts shredding on a wave, right? It'd be kind of cool. The otter did not harm anyone, though, and was just enjoying itself, with many people also enjoying that rare sighting. It's unclear, though, whether this is the same sea otter hopping on surfboards, or actually, there are multiple cases.
You mean there could be more than one? Okay.
Apparently.
Our pet of the day is on a mission to steal hearts and spread happiness. This is Agent. This 18-pound, 1-year-old Beagle Pug mix is a tall, wagging dynamo. He's never met a dog he didn't want to befriend and approaches every day like it's his next adventure. Agent loves his walks, his toys, and most of all, meeting new people. And Agent is ready for his next assignment, finding his forever family. Please contact the Red Barn Rescue if you'd like to meet him. NBC News Daily is next on WRAL. Your next local news update in 30 minutes.
And just a reminder, you can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Hope you have a blessed day today.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.